everyone, Liberty Doll here with my first ever Q&A video. A couple weeks ago, I posted a video asking you guys to send in your questions on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, email, everywhere, basically, in honor of hitting 30,000 subscribers. You guys threw in a lot of questions. I was actually not expecting that many people to respond. You guys sent a lot of questions. They're really great questions. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. But first, just as a quick heads up, there's been some weird buggy algorithm thing going around YouTube where creators are posting videos and subscribers aren't getting notified. It's not showing up in the subscriptions feeds, and it's not showing up on the creator's main page. So if you are that much of a fan that you're watching my Q&A video, go over to the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell, because it seems like that's the only way that people are actually being alerted that there are new videos being posted. Okay, so on to the questions. I'm gonna try to make this video not be half an hour long, so I'm just gonna dive right in. Okay, so first question, CB over at YouTube says, congrats and give us your geek creds, with a bunch of smiley faces and even a little thumbs uppy. First of all, there's sort of like a hierarchy here among terms, and geeks are sort of like down here, and nerds are, I mean, they're not up here, but they're maybe like here, so I much prefer the term nerd. It's a little bit better. As I was taking down all the questions, I was trying to organize them by, you know, if I got the same question. And this is the only one. I took notes for this one because I was so excited about it and I didn't want to miss anything. So to set the mood here, I'm going to start out by playing you my ringtone. This is so nerdy. Yeah, if you don't know what that is, then apparently you were not fortunate enough to have an N64 as a child. That is the Gerudo Valley theme song from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which is objectively the best video game ever. This game was so good that I dedicated a good chunk of my early teenage years to reading fan fiction about it and joining various websites, including, right, tmsword.com, it stands for the Master Sword, where I was voted Forum Queen 2 years in a row. And it gets better. While I have never actually played real life D&D, TM Sword had this section of the forums called the Temple of Light, where they did role-playing, where basically you would create your own characters, just like in D&D, and people would post missions, and they would have general storylines, and in some of them there was someone somewhere like rolling a d20, or they had like virtual d20s that you could plug things in. Oh man, I just remembered the fantasy name generator. Anyways, I participated in those daily. Like, there were times that I spent my whole summer doing this, and I participated in the only mission that was completed start to finish. What else? Like I said, I took notes. So besides the fact that I still play Pokemon Go, what is it, like 2 years later? Let's see. Oh, I was a member of Elfwood, which was before DeviantArt, and it was this website dedicated to science fiction and fantasy art, and there was role-playing on that too. Also, I've seen all the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer multiple times. I have a Buffy the Vampire Slayer t-shirt, and there was this time when I was like 13 or 14 and I got in trouble because I used an entire packet of printer paper to print out a Buffy fanfic. And the P.O Box project, that's a good one too. So I've read the Harry Potter books, all of them multiple times. I actually read the third one 14 times because it is my favorite, and I'm rereading the series right now. But there was a fanfic back in the day of LiveJournal, right, called the P.O Box project. And I made t-shirts for it that I wore on the regular. No one knew what the hell it was about. But I made my t-shirts with little stencils that I made and colored in with Sharpie, and I wore them with pride. I will admit though, Breath of the Wild is a pretty close second. That game is awesome and beautiful, and no matter what time I turn it on, it magically transports me to 2 a.m. and I have no idea what happened. All right, moving on now, because I know you guys just don't want to hear me babble on about Buffy and Zelda and all these nerdy things forever. So, Rachel King says, hello, I've been subscribed to you for months. I live in Massachusetts too. Love your videos. Can I have a shout out? Hi Rachel, yes, you absolutely can have a shout out. I am sorry that it is so late, but thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. Galen Scab, I think that's how you say it, and Sean Kidwell both asked, how long have I been married? So this is something that I try not really to talk about very much publicly because, first of all, it doesn't really have anything to do with my videos, and my husband says that it's bad marketing. But I have been married for 3 years, and he is my best friend in the entire world. I know a lot of couples say that, but legit, he's literally my best friend. There would be no Liberty Doll if it weren't for him. Seriously. Which brings me to some of the other questions. Leon Legray asked, how did my thoughts and perspective go from being a liberal to a libertarian? Yes, in fact, I was at one point in my life a liberal, but let me provide some context here. I grew up in Massachusetts. I had a liberal college education, which means that I was swamped in talk and assignments about diversity and multiculturalism and feminism, the invisible knapsack thing. I even did my undergraduate thesis because I was in the honors program, so I was required to do a thesis. My undergraduate thesis was in gender politics of representation. Just let that sink in a sec. So I actually met my husband a few months after I graduated from college. I moved to Boston for grad school, and I met him while I was in grad school. And I remember like one of the first things that he said to me about politics and philosophy that really made sense is he said to me, well, if everyone is equal already and has equal opportunities, why do we need feminism if everyone's equal anyways? And for some reason that really blew my mind. He had just gotten into Ron Paul, and in the beginning we were constitutionalists. He was just showing me some of Ron Paul's books and videos, and they just made sense. And I was more of a constitutionalist and then like an old school conservative, and I just sort of fell down that rabbit hole and ended up at libertarianism. I feel that there's a lot of people that once they really start questioning the philosophy behind political leanings, it's just sort of like an inevitable, you end up down somewhere in like the libertarian camp or small government camp because it's the thing that makes the most sense. I feel like that was a really long-winded answer, but it was just such a complicated process. All right, so next question. So several people asked similar questions, so I'm gonna go through them all and then I'm gonna answer them all as one. Steve Quest says, why are you in freedom-hating Massachusetts when it's only a short drive to libertarian-friendly New Hampshire to the north? Alexander Littlejohn, like I said, asked something similar. With everything bad that happens with gun bans in Massachusetts, why do you keep living there? Why not move to a freer state? The Triggerati also asked, how the hell do I pursue gun interest in Massachusetts, and does it make me want to move? And Kevin Anderson also asked, since Massachusetts is so anti-liberty, why do I stay? So, the answer to that question is basically, I was born and raised in Massachusetts. I do not want to stay here because it is terrible. But on the other hand, I do want to have a family, and I recognize that having a family is really hard if you don't have a lot of help. Add to that to the fact that I was the youngest person in my family. I've never really been around kids. I only held a baby for the first time 2 years ago. That's it. I do not know how to interact with little people that can't have adult conversations, but my husband has a lot of family in the area. I'm talking like 20, 30-minute radius, and a lot of them are really good with kids. So the plan is to have a few kids and stay here long enough to get some help as they're babies, and then once they start reaching school age, then we'll move because we want to homeschool. We will not have children if we can't homeschool. That's how adamant we are about it. And it's really difficult to homeschool in Massachusetts. There's all these barriers to it, just like there is with everything else. So ideally, we would go somewhere south where it's warm and where homeschooling really isn't a problem. So yes, I stay in Massachusetts because of the family, and also I just opened my own business last year, and we have a house, and there's a lot of things going on that you just can't pick up and move. BL asked, what made you feel the need to start a channel like this? Fun fact, the whole Liberty Doll thing did not start out as a YouTube channel. It started out as a Facebook page that I made back in 2013, and I made it because I didn't feel like I could talk about politics or philosophy at all on my personal page because of some issues that I had with some family members and with some friends. So I created this Facebook page, and also at the same time I created a blog because I have always loved writing, and I got really excited when I first got into Liberty, and I wanted to tell everyone about it and educate them and spread these ideas. So I started the blog, and then I started the Facebook page to sort of advertise the blog, and again to talk about politics and philosophy away from my personal page. But eventually what started happening is people were sending me messages and comments saying, hey, I like your work, but I really don't feel like reading a blog post, so can you start making videos? And I was really resistant to it at first because I didn't think I could ever come up with enough to talk about to make YouTube videos at all, let alone have weekly videos. But that is how it started, because people didn't want to read my blogs anymore because they didn't want to read.